There are places in America so terrifying, even the locals warn you never to step foot there at night. From cursed cemeteries, where gravestones seem to vanish into thin air, to haunted hotels where guests hear laughter in empty halls and sometimes never check out. Tonight, we'll journey through 10 of the most haunted places in the United States. And I'll warn you now, these are not stories. These are places you can visit, if you dare. Haunted Place 1. The Stanley Hotel, Colorado. High in the Colorado Rockies sits one of the most infamous haunted hotels in America, the Stanley Hotel. Built in 1909, it was meant to be a luxurious retreat, but today it is best known as one of the most haunted places in the world. This hotel became legendary after inspiring Stephen King's The Shining. King himself stayed here one stormy night in room 217, and it said he woke from a nightmare so vivid, he wrote one of the most terrifying novels ever created. Guests report a long list of strange encounters. Piano music drifts through the halls late at night, though no one is seated at the keys. Children are heard running and laughing upstairs, yet when staff investigate, the halls are completely empty. But the most haunted place of all is room 217. Many visitors claim to wake in the dead of night to see a woman standing silently at the foot of their bed. Some say she neatly folds their clothes. Others say she simply watches for hours. Staff believe the spirit is Elizabeth Wilson, a housekeeper who nearly lost her life in a gas explosion in that very room in 1911. Ever since, her presence has lingered, unsettling but strangely protective. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, one thing is certain: very few people leave the Stanley Hotel without a story of their own. And if you ever find yourself in room 217, don't be surprised if you wake up with someone watching you sleep. Haunted Place 2. Waverly Hills Sanatorium, Kentucky. On the outskirts of Louisville, Kentucky, stands a massive building, once a place of healing, now one of the most haunted locations in America. Waverly Hills Sanatorium. Built in 1910 to treat tuberculosis patients, the sanatorium became infamous for the sheer number of deaths that occurred within its walls. Over 60,000 people died here, many suffering alone, and the hospital quickly gained a dark reputation. To discreetly move the deceased, staff constructed a hidden tunnel, known as the body chute, to transport corpses down the hill without alarming patients. But some say the spirits never left. Visitors report seeing shadowy figures moving across hallways, cold gusts of air that seem to come from nowhere, and whispers calling their names in the dead of night. One of the most famous spirits is Timmy, a young boy who reportedly died here. Paranormal investigators often bring a ball to the empty hallways, only to watch in shock as it rolls on its own. Others report seeing a nurse wandering the upper floors, a woman who supposedly took her own life after a tragic event. Her presence is said to linger, endlessly repeating the sorrow of her final moments. With decades of pain, despair, and death embedded in its walls, Waverly Hills Sanatorium is considered one of the most haunted places in the United States. Those brave enough to visit at night often leave shaken, haunted by things they cannot explain. And some say if you linger too long, the shadows may follow you home. Haunted Place 3. Eastern State Penitentiary, Pennsylvania. In the heart of Philadelphia lies the Eastern State Penitentiary, a prison that was revolutionary for its time. Built in 1829, it was designed to reform criminals through solitary confinement. But the very system meant to rehabilitate its inmates instead created unbearable isolation, torment, and despair. For decades, prisoners were kept alone in small cells, with barely any human contact, and many went insane from the extreme solitude. The penitentiary quickly gained a dark reputation. Stories emerged of men and women who never recovered from their time inside, some ending their own lives, others wandering the halls in a permanent state of madness. Visitors today report feeling sudden chills, hearing chains rattling, and seeing fleeting shadows dart across the corridors. One of the most infamous ghosts is known as Al Capone's shadow. Although Capone himself was only briefly incarcerated here, witnesses claim to see a tall, imposing figure in the empty halls, pacing silently, watching those who walk through the cell blocks. Others speak of phantom footsteps echoing through the rotunda, laughter that doesn't belong to any living person, and the constant feeling of being observed. The penitentiary's design, intended to be a model of reform, seems to have trapped something far darker. Even guided tours at night report unexplained phenomena: lights flickering, doors slamming, and whispers in languages no one recognizes. Some say the spirits of former inmates are forever trapped within the walls, reliving the torment of their final days. Eastern State Penitentiary stands as a chilling reminder. The line between punishment and horror is thin, and in some places, it blurs entirely. Few who enter its desolate halls at night ever leave feeling the same way they did when they arrived. Haunted Place 4. The Queen Mary, California. Docked in Long Beach, California, the Queen Mary is a grand ocean liner that sailed the seas in the 1930s. Today, it rests permanently as a floating hotel, but behind its luxurious facade lies a history soaked in tragedy and ghostly encounters. During its time as a passenger ship, the Queen Mary saw both celebration and calamity. Countless people enjoyed its elegant halls, but many perished aboard due to accidents, illness, and wartime service when the ship was converted into a troop transport during World War II. Visitors to the Queen Mary have reported a chilling array of supernatural phenomena. Guests staying in the infamous cabin B340 claim to hear mysterious voices whispering in the dark, footsteps pacing outside the door, and even cold hands brushing against them in the night. Some awaken to find objects moved or beds shaken as if someone unseen had entered the room. The engine room, where many crew members once worked long, grueling hours, is said to be one of the most haunted areas aboard the ship. Shadowy figures are often seen darting through the corridors, and apparitions of sailors in uniform have been spotted wandering aimlessly, as if reliving the life they lost at sea. Perhaps the most chilling encounters occur in the pool area. The Grand Salon and the first-class pool have both been the site of multiple sightings of ghostly figures. Some playing, some floating silently, and others staring back at visitors with hollow, lifeless eyes. Many who have ventured to these locations at night describe a suffocating sense of dread, as though the spirits of the past refuse to rest. The Queen Mary is a reminder that even in places of grandeur, tragedy leaves a lasting mark. Step aboard, and you may find yourself walking alongside echoes of the past, never truly alone, and always under the watchful eyes of spirits that refuse to leave. Haunted Place 5. The Myrtles Plantation, Louisiana. Deep in the heart of St. Francisville, Louisiana, stands the Myrtles Plantation, a grand estate that is as beautiful as it is haunted. Built in 1796, the plantation has long been surrounded by tales of mystery, betrayal, and death. Over the centuries, the grounds have witnessed countless tragedies, and many believe the spirits of those who suffered still linger here. Legend has it that the plantation is built over an ancient Tunica Indian burial ground, adding an eerie layer of spiritual unrest. But it is the stories from its human inhabitants that make the Myrtles infamous. One of the most well-known spirits is that of Chloe, a former slave who was reportedly punished for eavesdropping on the family she served. Some accounts say she baked a poisoned cake in revenge, resulting in the deaths of several family members. Visitors often claim to see Chloe's reflection in mirrors, even when no one else is nearby. Footsteps echo along the halls, doors open and close on their own, and shadowy figures glide silently across the rooms. The smell of sweet perfume, believed to be Chloe's presence, has been reported by multiple guests and staff alike. Other spirits reportedly haunt the bedrooms and the grand staircase, appearing as fleeting glimpses of pale figures watching from the corners. Guests have woken to find themselves touched by unseen hands, or with objects mysteriously moved from their original places. Photographs taken on the plantation sometimes reveal unexplained shapes or orbs hovering in the background. With a history soaked in sorrow and mystery, the Myrtles Plantation is often called one of America's most haunted homes. Those who dare to explore its halls after dark are reminded that tragedy has a way of lingering, and some souls never find peace. Haunted Place 6. The Lemp Mansion, Missouri. In St. Louis, Missouri, sits the infamous Lemp Mansion, a grand estate with a dark legacy that has earned it a reputation as one of America's most haunted homes. Once the residence of the wealthy Lemp family, its halls now echo with the sorrow, madness, and mysterious deaths that plagued its former occupants. The Lemp family made their fortune in beer brewing, but their wealth came with a heavy curse. Over several decades, multiple family members tragically ended their own lives inside the mansion, leaving behind unanswered questions and restless spirits. The mansion itself became a stage for grief, despair, and inexplicable phenomena. Visitors to the Lemp Mansion report seeing apparitions in the hallways, particularly in the rooms where family members died. Shadowy figures are often glimpsed at the top of the stairs, while cold spots and sudden chills seem to follow guests from room to room. Some claim to hear disembodied footsteps echoing through the grand hall, or whispers in empty rooms calling out names from the past. The mansion has also been the site of countless paranormal investigations. Cameras frequently capture unexplained lights, objects move on their own, and some guests even report being touched or followed by unseen hands. The spirit of a young Lemp daughter is said to roam the estate, silently observing visitors as if warning them of the mansion's dark secrets. With its rich history of wealth, tragedy, and untimely deaths, the Lemp Mansion remains a chilling reminder of the human cost of despair. Those brave enough to enter its doors often leave with a lingering sense of unease, a feeling that some tragedies are never truly buried, and that the shadows of the past never truly disappear. Haunted Place 7. Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, West Virginia. Nestled in the hills of West Virginia lies the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, a sprawling institution built in 1864 to house the mentally ill. Over the years, it became overcrowded, and its halls witnessed unimaginable suffering, despair, and death. Patients were subjected to harsh treatments, long confinements, and in many cases, outright neglect. Visitors to the asylum today report a chilling atmosphere that seems to permeate the walls. Shadowy figures are often seen moving along the long corridors, whispers echo through empty rooms, and sudden cold spots send shivers down the spine. Some even claim to feel hands brush against them, though no one else is present. Among the most infamous spirits is a patient known only as Patient 26. Legend says he was kept in solitary confinement for months, and his presence is still felt in the abandoned cells. Visitors often hear faint cries and screams coming from rooms long sealed off, and some have reported seeing his pale, gaunt figure standing silently in the corner, watching them. The asylum's operating history is filled with accounts of paranormal activity. Strange noises, phantom footsteps, and objects moving without explanation are commonly reported during tours. Many who enter the building after dark say the feeling of being watched never fades, and some have left in panic, convinced the spirits of the past are still very much alive. With a past marked by tragedy, pain, and the cries of countless souls, the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum stands as a testament to the haunting power of human suffering. Those who dare to explore its halls at night are warned. The past here does not rest easily, and some of its residents never truly left. Haunted Place 8. The Amityville House, New York. In Amityville, New York, a quiet suburban home became the epicenter of one of America's most infamous haunting stories. On a cold November night in 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr. tragically murdered 6 members of his family inside this house. Afterward, the Lutz family moved in, unaware that the home held a dark and malevolent presence. Almost immediately, the Lutz family reported strange occurrences. Doors slammed on their own, cold spots appeared in rooms without explanation, and ghostly apparitions were seen moving through the house. Objects were thrown, and at times, the family heard disembodied voices calling out their names in the middle of the night. One of the most terrifying experiences was the appearance of shadowy figures in hallways, seemingly watching the family. The children reported seeing entities in their rooms, and the parents felt an overwhelming sense of dread whenever they entered certain areas of the home. Paranormal investigators later visited the house, documenting phenomena such as green slime oozing from walls, strange odors, and unexplained sounds. Despite the attention, the house remained a source of fear for anyone who dared to spend time within its walls. Today, the Amityville house stands as a symbol of tragedy and terror. Those who visit are warned that some events leave a permanent mark, and the evil that once dwelled there is said to linger, reminding us that even the most ordinary homes can hide unimaginable darkness. Haunted Place 9. The Bell Witch Cave, Tennessee. Deep in Adams, Tennessee, lies the infamous Bell Witch Cave, a site steeped in legend, terror, and the unexplained. The story begins in the early 1800s, when the Bell family became the target of a mysterious and malevolent entity. Known as the Bell Witch, this spirit tormented the family with relentless pranks, physical attacks, and chilling messages from beyond the grave. John Bell and his family experienced unexplainable phenomena. Knocks on doors, slamming windows, and objects moving on their own. The entity was said to speak, sometimes in whispers, other times in booming voices, and even claimed to be a spirit that would one day take John Bell's life. The cave itself became a focal point for the haunting. Visitors report feeling an overwhelming sense of dread as they enter its shadowed depths. Cold gusts of wind seem to follow them. Disembodied footsteps echo through the tunnels, and some have seen shadowy figures darting between the stalactites and stalagmites. Stories tell of people hearing the bell which speaking their names, taunting them, or warning them to leave. Some have even claimed to feel hands pushing them away or gripping their shoulders, though no one else is present. Locals believe the cave is a direct link to the spirit that haunted the Bell family, a place where the veil between the living and the dead is impossibly thin. Even today, those who venture into the Bell Witch Cave speak of strange sensations, eerie whispers, and a feeling of being watched. It is said that some who enter are forever changed, carrying with them a reminder that the Bell Witch's presence has never truly faded. Haunted Place 10. The Driscoll Hotel, Texas. In the heart of Austin, Texas, the Driscoll Hotel stands as a luxurious landmark by day, but by night, it is infamous for its paranormal activity. Built in 1886, this historic hotel has witnessed decades of history, including tragic deaths, unexplained disappearances, and ghostly encounters that continue to intrigue visitors. Guests and staff report seeing shadowy figures in the hallways, hearing footsteps and voices when the hotel is otherwise empty, and feeling sudden cold chills in certain rooms. Room 525 is particularly infamous, where guests have claimed to hear a woman crying or footsteps pacing the floor late at night. Legend has it that the hotel's founder, Colonel Jesse Driscoll, sometimes appears as a shadowy figure, silently observing visitors. Some say the ghost is protective, while others warn that he haunts those who disrespect the hotel's history. Photographs often capture strange orbs, misty shapes, or unexplained shadows in empty rooms. Guests have reported doors opening on their own, lights flickering without cause, and even hearing whispers calling their names. Despite its reputation, the Driscoll Hotel continues to operate as a luxury hotel, attracting paranormal enthusiasts and curious travelers alike. Visitors leave with stories that send chills down the spine, a reminder that even in the bustling heart of a city, the past can linger, and some spirits refuse to rest. These 10 haunted places remind us that the shadows of the past never truly fade. From the dark forests of Tennessee to the eerie halls of Kentucky, the spirits linger, waiting for the curious, the brave, and sometimes the unlucky. If tonight's journey through America's most haunted locations has sent shivers down your spine, make sure you don't stop here. There are countless more stories waiting to be told, and nightmares yet to unfold. So, if you want to face even more terrifying legends, haunted places, and true paranormal encounters, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Don't forget to like this video if it gave you chills, and share it with your friends if they dare. And remember, the next time you think you're alone in the dark, you might not be.